This Friday's game has big implications for the Boston Celtics as they look to take on the Chicago Bulls in the final NBA Cup game. And the Celtics, who have already lost one of those games to the Atlanta Hawks, need this win versus the Bulls on Friday to ensure that they could possibly win the group and have a higher chance of advancing because the defending champions, who are already one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, need to still have that respect around the league to still prove that they can compete. And if they don't make this second round of the NBA Cup, some fans and some other fan bases might be questioning how legit this team is. So we're going to look at all of that and break it all down in this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. Welcome back, guys. You guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support for the channel. Without further ado, make sure to grab a snack, but let's dive into the topics here as this is absolutely huge, like I mentioned in the introduction, as the Boston Celtics here are gearing up and getting ready for their game on Friday versus the Bulls. And the Celtics, who just came off a nice back-to-back wins versus the Clippers and the Timberwolves, they are getting some needed rest before Thanksgiving. And Friday, like I mentioned on Black Friday, they will gear up to take on this Chicago Bulls team in a massive game, as it is the final game of the NBA Cup for the Celtics. And like I mentioned, it is a necessary requirement to advance to this group stage, as other teams might be looking at us differently if the defending champions don't make it out of the group stage, a top team in the Eastern Conference. So let's look at an article going over the likely possibilities and chances that the Celtics have to make this NBA Cup. If we want to look at this article on Boston.com, it is the NBA Cup scenarios where the Celtics stand heading into their final group stage game. And I want to give a shout out to Kari Thompson here for doing an article here. Shout out to Kari over on Twitter, over on Blue Skies, giving me shout outs, has responded to my stuff. So I want to give him some love for doing a fantastic article and for us to be able to break it down over here on Celtics Digest. Thank you so much, Kari, for the fantastic work that you bring for the Celtics and for the New England Patriots. If you guys don't follow Kari already, definitely give him a follow. But if we want to look at this article that he broke down, like I said, he wrote that the team with the best two records advanced to the knockout rounds. And there will be 6 group winners and 2 wild card teams, 1 per conference, that advance to the quarterfinals. From there, it's a single elimination tournament to decide the NBA Cup champion. For the Celtics group, they are in Group C alongside the Hawks, Cavs, Bulls, and Wizards. And the Celtics and Hawks at the moment are both 2-1, sitting atop of those East Group C standings. The Cavs, Bulls, and Wizards still at the moment do have 2 games left, where the Celtics and the Hawks only have 1 contest left. The tiebreakers in order for the NBA Cup are head-to-head, point differential, total points scored in group play, record from last year's regular season, and if any additional tiebreaker is needed after those ones, it would be a random drawing. For the Celtics, they would need a win against the Bulls, and for the Cavaliers to beat the Atlanta to emerge as the Eastern Group C winner. That would put the Celtics at 3-1, would put the Hawks at 2-2. And even if that were the case, that would be beneficial for the Celtics because the Celtics have a group stage loss to the Hawks, like I mentioned, so Atlanta owns the head-to-head tiebreaker. A loss to the Cavs would drop the Hawks at 2-2 and would lead the Celtics to a 3-1 record. And in that case, Cleveland would be tied with the Celtics if they did beat Washington and Atlanta. But as we all know, the Celtics do have that head-to-head tiebreaker over the Cavs because of their 120-117 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers at TD earlier this month, which was the Cavaliers' only loss still to this season. So, like I mentioned, the Celtics getting a win over this Bulls team would be huge, and having that Atlanta Hawks team lose would be huge as well, as it would put the Celtics in that front runner spot, because even if the Cavaliers win both of those games, they'd be able to take over. And as we know, the Celtics have beat Washington. Chicago has already lost some games, so neither of those teams can really make it out of the group stage. It is basically a battle between the Celtics, the Hawks, and the Cavs at this very moment. But even if the Celtics were to get unlucky here, say the Atlanta Hawks were to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, even if the Celtics did win this contest, or even if the Celtics were able to lose this contest and the Cavs were still able to win, there is still a possibility that the Celtics can make it out of this group stage, and that is because of the wild card. Now, like we mentioned in the beginning here, if we want to look at the first picture here from Kari, like he mentioned, there are 3 group stage winners and 1 wild card team that can advance. So even if the Celtics don't win the group stage, similar to last season, they can advance out of the wild card. And we saw this with the Celtics last year when they went up against the Bulls, when they were hacking Drummond to make sure they could win by point differential to get that wild card spot in this tournament. But if we want to look at the other scenarios as well from Kari, we can see this. There's a scenario where the Celtics could lose to Chicago and still advance. If all 5 teams finish at 2-2, then the point differential tiebreaker would come into play. Washington would have to beat Cleveland and Chicago, and Cleveland would have to beat Atlanta for that to happen. A little bit of a wonky scenario, but something that's still possible. And the Celtics are currently second behind the Cavs in point differential amongst East Group C teams. The NBA quarterfinals will be played from December 10th to 11th, where the semifinal and championship rounds will be held in Las Vegas' T-Mobile Arena from December 14th and December 17th. Now, last season, this was a very, very cool thing to be added to the season, and I thought was very, very solid as well. Now, the Celtics obviously didn't have a great run in a team that did win the NBA Cup last season, and the Los Angeles Lakers didn't have the greatest second half to the season. So we haven't really been able to see what the NBA Cup really signifies or shows as a unit. But as we all know, the Boston Celtics, like I mentioned, were the NBA champions last season. And being defending champions, being second in the Eastern Conference, being in the group with the only undefeated team and beating them in that NBA Cup tournament style should put the league on notice. So the Celtics should know in the back of their heads that they need to get well rested and ready for that game on Friday. Because going up against Chicago, that is a must win for this Celtics team. Because if they beat this Chicago Bulls team and they finish out at 3-1, it is all banking on Cleveland. If Cleveland can get those 2 games wrapped up versus Atlanta and versus Washington, the Celtics will be A-okay. And the Celtics, because they have the head-to-head tiebreaker, doesn't matter about the point differential, because they have the head-to-head tiebreaker, will move on. And regardless if the Celtics win the group or not, we need them to move on in this group to be able to ensure that they are still a top competitor. Because if other teams in the Eastern Conference see the Celtics at 15-3 not make the NBA Cup semifinals due to the fact that they lost one of those games to the Atlanta Hawks, a lot of people are going to start questioning the legitimacy of this team, which they shouldn't, but they will, and it's going to raise a lot of question marks around the Celtics team that don't need to be raised, as we've already seen that with this 15-3 record, without Kristaps Porziņģis, and with the insertion of Kristaps Porziņģis in this one game versus the Los Angeles Clippers, how dominant this Celtics team truly can be and will strive to be for the foreseeable future. Like I said, I think the Celtics team will be able to lock up the Chicago Bulls team on Friday night, take care of that dub similarly to what they did last season, and be able to ensure themselves to make it to the next round of the NBA Cup. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How hyped are you about the NBA Cup? Do you even like the NBA Cup? Do you not like the NBA Cup? What are your overall thoughts? How are you feeling about this Celtics team? Drop down your comments in the comment section. Once again, as you know, we love reading your comments. We love breaking everything down over here on Celtics Digest. And like I've said at the point at every end of the video, if you guys are still at this point in the video, you're still not subscribed. 69% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed. And Godfrey and I are trying to reach a goal of 6,000 subscribers by the end of the new year. We wanted to reach this goal before the start of the season. We did not get there. And we're less than 150 subscribers away, guys. We've been at this mark for a little over a month now. So we'd really, really appreciate it if you're new to the channel, if you do enjoy the content, if you like the daily Celtics news that we break down for you, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. And if you do enjoy the content here as well, make sure to share the channel as well to gain as much popularity on Celtics Digest over here. Like I said, if you're at this point in the video, you have been watching, you are a diehard fan, so I really do appreciate it. Sorry for no more watch-along live streams. We are going to fade away from those, but we are going to bring back the weekly live streams starting after Thanksgiving. After this week, I will be back in full swing. We're going to do weekly live streams over here on Celtics Digest, possibly getting some guests once a week as I want to do that. And we're also going to be going into the post-game videos, possibly some post-game reaction live streams, so I'll have that all for you guys as well. Well, as I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. If you're still at this point in the video, you are a real supporter, and I really, really do appreciate you. So thank you so much. Drop 3 shamrocks down below if you're at this point, but I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Have a great Thanksgiving as well, guys. Peace out.